Hello YouTube, Jumpy23 here. Welcome back to my FE8 at 0% LTC, and today we have Chapter 11. We're going to start off with our first shopping trip in quite a while. Duessel buys a single hammer and enough javelins to last us the rest of the game. That's going to be 4 more, just to be clear. Now Moulder is going to buy an unlocked staff, which is going to get used exactly once, and a mend for himself now that we can finally buy those. Natasha can't use her mend anymore either. It has one more use, but the last use of a weapon or staff gives no weapon XP. However, she can steal Dracoshiel's mend before she needs to use mend again, because we're about to enter a Fog of War map, so it's torch time. It's also time for Cormag to begin his supplements routine. Technically, the only booster he needs for this map is the energy ring. However, he will need both the Angelic Robes for Final 1, and both Speedwings for Final 2, so he may as well eat those now as well. By the way, the results of the poll on my last video said that Cormag is more preferred to Cormag, so that's what he's going to be from now on. Chapter 11 is a boat map, so our flyers are going to be very handy, as will Seth and Duessel for their ability to churn out massive amounts of damage. Our staffers will be spamming torch and nobody else will be doing very much, but I guess I already named 7 of the 11 units I'm deploying. Joshua takes the hero crest and promotes to, of course, Swordmaster for the better stat gains than Assassin and the plus 15 crit bonus. He's definitely competent filler now, with higher speed than Seth and Duessel and the ability to rig a crit on anyone on player phase. Notably, in this very map, he'll be able to juggle gargoyles that the others can't, hence the Lance Reaver he takes from Seth. In his LTC, Kiwi took advantage of the high enemy density on the Phantom ship to grind down his weapons for Chapter 13. Unfortunately, I'm going to be clearing this map one turn faster than Kiwi did, so Seth and Duessel don't really have much time to use one-range weapons. Seth takes a javelin that he's nearly going to break, while Forde is actually in the best position to grind down the steel lance, albeit only a very little, so he takes it from Tana. This map is notable for its really bizarre AI where most enemies don't move when they first spawn and then they start moving on turn 4 or 5. It's also floored at 5 turns by the rules of this run because Dracoshield and Duessel are not recruited if you clear the map faster than that. But that's fine because I doubt we could have done it anyway. Duessel is going to get to grind down the hand axe pretty close to being one use. This map has such a slow start that most unit starting positions don't even matter. The enemy boat doesn't appear on the map until turn 2. Well, it's there, but there's no enemies on it. You'll see me actually using Torch to eliminate areas in this map, somewhat for watchability, somewhat because I have to do things on player phase this time. Of the 2 Moguls toward the top, one of them moves. Forde stands up there to attack it with a javelin. He can one-round Moguls unless they roll up on both speed and HP and defense, so we're going to need them not to do that. He kills 2 more Moguls later, and those need to roll down as well. Tana and Vanessa shorten their movements so that they didn't bait over the gargoyle and get attacked. And Cormag needs to kill all 3 of these gargoyles by turn 2 so that he can promote. It's not strictly necessary for him to crit them both on turn 1, both of the ones that move at least, but it does help. Natasha eliminates the backside of the map because I'm going to need to do some player phase combat there on later turns. Moulder at this point is kind of just spamming torch willy-nilly though. And Tana and Vanessa are each dropping their payload in a specific place. Many enemies on the boat don't move but will attack, so we want to be in their range whenever possible. Also, if you look very closely, for a few frames while they're being rescue dropped, Duessel and Seth don't have horses. Forde and Kyle rescue Tana out of the way of the gargoyle and in the range of the Moguls she's going to kill next turn. Vanessa doesn't get to kill any Moguls because her stats are too bad, but she's not done contributing on this map either. This is a long enemy phase without too much to say. Duessel does whittle down the hand axe for the one used for chapter 13, but let's talk about La Rochelle here. Kibi has already ranted about all the ways that La Rochelle is disappointing, but I want to talk about her good points. First of all, I have to deploy her in chapter 14 to recruit Renak. Because of her weapon type, she can bait the Silence Bishop, who would otherwise attack Ephraim and probably kill him. She does have to dodge silence though, because you can't talk while silenced, but she has super good res, so it's not that hard. The other nice thing she does is she has a special deployment slot in Final 2, right below Ephraim, and she has 15 aid. If you attack Fomortiz with Duessel or Garrick, she can rescue them backward to be danced by Tethys without needing a movement staff for Tethys. Staff utility? What's that? Is La Rochelle supposed to have that? Joshua has to crit this gargoyle because Seth missed, but at least he's already showing off the Swordmaster crit bonus. These Moguls don't move until turn 5, so Tana can take them out on enemy phase with an Iron Lance. That's good because she can't kill them in one round with a Javelin. Similarly, Seth is going to stand where he does, so that he can take out that Bonewalker Archer next to Duessel on enemy phase, because that is also a stationary enemy. Cormag promotes to Wyvern Knight just in time. Wyvern Knight is vastly superior to Wyvern Lord because of the 3 extra speed and pierce. Swords really don't add anything of value. Because you can Canto after using an item, he has just enough move with his new promotion to reach the bottom left Moguls and Javelin them on enemy phase. Now while we watch some more boring puttering about, let's talk about Dazla. Dazla is a really fun unit. He has very low speed but super high everything else. He has trouble one-rounding things he can't double, but he can take a serious beating. He only has a real chance of death like one time throughout this playthrough, and I'm frankly just being stupid with him when he does. Having another competent axe user helps me grind down the steel axe in chapter 12. Berserker terrain penalties and high enough con to hold Duessel make him invaluable in chapter 13, and having another crit bonus like Joshua is nice for killing rangers in chapter 15. That's all he does throughout the playthrough, but it's a good bit. Cormag needs to hit S lances by chapter 14, so it's good that he's already hit B. We're nearing the end of the map. Enemies on the boat are going to start to move on this turn, so let's clear out what we can before that happens. Duessel's going to take this one opportunity where enemies are moving but none of them have 2 range to grind down the steel axe. And Forde wants to get hit here, because we want him to be an attractive target for a gargoyle on enemy phase, who will stand on the stairs blocking a reinforcement. Just like Cormag just leveled up, Joshua hits A swords well in advance of when he's going to need them in chapter 13. And Seth needs to dodge the white for Forde to be targeted by the gargoyle. I start moving Cormag, then realize he wants to stand where Kyle is, so I move Kyle first. Moulder puts something worthless in Cormag's inventory to set up a convoy warp on the next turn. And Natasha keeps spamming torch in her little corner. I bet you can guess what she's going to do next turn. Here, Vanessa rigs the reinforcements that are about to appear. That's going to be Moguls from the top and bottom and Gargoyles from the left. And then she gets in position to rescue Tana to safety after she gets one more Mogul kill on turn 5. I'm going to need the non-boss Gargoyles on the left to not roll high on defense so that Cormag can one-round them with a Javelin. And I need the south Moguls to not roll high on bulk so that Forde can one-round them with a Javelin. Duessel missing the Revenant is kind of annoying. Having one more use on the Steel Axe means I need to find somewhere else to use it, and spoiler alert, that's why Duessel faces a chance of death in this run. But I didn't feel like finding another RN that worked. So this here is why Cormag needed the energy ring. He has just enough strength to kill the boss with a crit. I think if the boss rolls max on bulk, he doesn't even kill with a crit with an energy ring. But don't quote me on that. Then he convoy sends the killer lance so we can take out all the javelins, or all the gargoyles near the boss on enemy phase with a javelin, since some of them are holding javelins of their own. Seth will be taking out 2 more Moguls on this turn, so he needs a fresher Javelin, which Kyle gives him, and then rescues Joshua out of the way of the South Moguls. Forde standing on the stairs keeps the Mogul directly south of him from targeting Kyle. Duessel takes out the Gargoyle so that Natasha can have anywhere safe to stand at all. And she picks the same tile she's been standing on for 3 turns now. Tana manages to do pretty well for herself on this map, picking up 4 kills on Moguls. It's a real race to level 10 with her, so absolutely everything counts. And then time for one last fairly unreliable enemy phase as Vanessa rescues Tana out of danger. These 2 gargoyles by Dazla are only level 1, unlike all the others. It's basically a cutscene to make Dazla seem strong, which is good, because he can't reliably take out level 9 gargoyles. Cormag's hit rates here suck, and he has to hit 8 times in a row, but such is life. Forde's hit rates aren't much better, and he has to hit 4 in a row. That's why I had that fairly long rig before the enemy phase, despite nobody facing a chance of death. Duessel's hit rates are really good at least, because he has the hatchet. And so are Seth's because he is Seth. I don't think any of the failed RNs that I tried failed on Duessel or Seth. The Angelic Robe and Speedwings make this map more reliable on Cormag, but aren't strictly necessary to clear the map. Without a Speedwings, you would have to rig the 4 gargoyles by the boss to have 9 speed, which is like a 27% chance per gargoyle. So it's not super great, but it's like doable. I think this gargoyle moves last because he was concealed by fog, and otherwise he would actually move with the other gargoyles by Cormag. Dozla finishes the map on the other phase, and that's chapter 11 in 5 turns.